if this will get to you. I hope so. I can't go back in time and fix all the mistakes I made.
Okay, real talk, this trailer looks super exciting. So much to my joy, Apple has an upcoming series called Monarch Legacy of the Monsters, or Legacy of Monsters, and it's set to premiere on November 17th with what looks like a thrilling 10-episode series. I don't know why I thought this was Patrick Swayze at first. I don't know why I keep getting them mixed up, him and Kurt Russell. But anyway, you don't know how happy I am to hear that Godzilla is getting a series, and honestly, this is, for me anyway, a much better bet than waiting for years for movies to come out. I think this was a good move on Apple's part because more and more people are turning to streaming rather than movies. In my opinion, it's a better bang for your buck and it seems to be a better investment, and when you think about it, you stand to have a little bit more to profit when you have several people paying for the price of a ticket or two every month, rather than once in a while in addition to merchandise. Anyway, let's talk about the trailer.
I decided to do something about it. Hopes, dreams, ambitions. The mission was to protect their world.
Frick was that? So the most important thing to know about this trailer is that the series draws its inspiration from Legendary's Monsterverse, which is a series of movies that started from the 2014 Godzilla movie. So yes, that means that this does tie into those Godzilla films, including King Kong because he's part of the Monsterverse. At the heart of this series, we're going to be following along the story of two siblings venturing into the depths of hidden mysteries. They work together to find out what their family's connection is to the organization Monarch, which we learn more about in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Along their journey, they cross paths with Army Officer Lee Shaw, who was apparently a pivotal figure during the 1950s. Apparently, he becomes a threat to Monarch much later, and this is the character who's going to be played by the real-life father and son duo Kurt and Wyatt Russell, the latter stepping into the shoes of the younger version of Shaw, which I think is really cute. So for what we know about Monarch Legacy of Monsters, it takes place in the aftermath of the epic Godzilla vs. Titan showdown that left San Francisco in ruins. You can see in broad daylight what that looks like, and I'm so glad they added this because you never really think about it after the monsters leave what that looks like. In the trailer, we see Shaw in both the present day and his younger self and how he ties into different events. We see archival footage that showed when people first saw Godzilla and what the government's response was. Honestly, this was so haunting. So I think it's totally possible that we're gonna see the event of Godzilla showing up for the first time back then. I think what's also interesting about the trailer is that we see different monsters. I don't know what the hell this is. I thought it was Scylla at first, but it looks as though Scylla is it's possibly Scylla over there. I'm not sure. Well, no, because no, that's probably the monster from Skull Island, the spider thing. Because Scylla has more of like a rounded Nautilus appearance. You see examples of that here with her Cthulhu looking ass. But this thing looks straight up like some weird crab with a freaking devil's anus as its mouth. I'm not really sure. Maybe that's its backside, and if that's its backside, Jesus Christ. It looks like things are supposed to enter it instead of coming out of it. So that leads me to believe this is actually its face. I hope. Then we have this thing that looks almost like Rodan, but as you look closer, it's something completely different, like some dragon bird thing. Not really sure what that is, but I'm excited because now we're getting a new monster, or at least for me, this is a new monster. This looks like it's set on Skull Island. I could be wrong, but I'm looking at the machinery and all the moss and growth on those machines and the mountains in the background. That tells me this takes place on an island, and we do know there's some footage from the island as well, so probably giving a backstory to certain monsters that we're gonna see in the show and where they came from or their inception. I mean, Monarch is an organization that studies and follows different monsters and cryptids, and we already know from King of the Monsters that there were so many other monsters that they were tracking that were not present in those previous movies. Here's another shot of a ship about to fall down on these people, and I'm pretty sure King Kong or somebody stops it. So I was right, there's a significant portion of this that probably takes place on Skull Island, especially when you consider that they're going to be bouncing around in time with the Kurt Russell character. What I find fascinating is not only the fact that they're exploring the presence of monsters and titans, as they call them in this world, which is something that they explore in the movies, they're also going to be exploring the presence of human monsters as well. I think that was a really beautiful shot right there, my goodness. us getting Godzilla's beautiful mug as he is just really upset. He doesn't even look hurt. He's just really mad and frustrated. He's throwing a tantrum, which is completely understandable. And we see our character and things from her point of view, which is really cool. I like when they do shots like this because then you get to see the size and the scale of the Titans. But this is epic wallpaper right here. Like, look at that. That is just perfect. There are several things to pick apart, but I like that this trailer doesn't give away too much while keeping you invested.
Back in time and fix all the mistakes I made.
Now the big question is, should you watch the movies before watching this? And I will maintain what I have always said. You should not have to be required to watch the movies in order to get the show. While the worlds do tie in, there are a lot of people who wouldn't spend their money on watching the movie because it's probably not something they were interested in, but already have subscriptions to streaming platforms and would much rather sit at home and spend their money on a platform where they can get other forms of entertainment in addition to this. They're already paying for it, so they would have more motivation to want to watch this rather than picking up their kids or spending money to go drive all the way to the theater to pay a ticket for something they potentially will not like and can't back out from because they already paid for it and are not getting anything else out of it. That being said, it makes sense and it would behoove Apple Plus, which I believe they will do, to give a backstory to all the MonsterVerse films for those who haven't seen it, so that new fans of the franchise who haven't seen any of the MonsterVerse films won't be necessarily required to watch the MonsterVerse films. They can get the general gist of what's going on, but if they choose to later, they can go back and watch it for themselves for an added bonus. That's how this is supposed to work. If people are coming in to this show and they're completely confused and they require doing homework by watching the movies first, that's going to be a big mess up. So I definitely hope they don't do that. I hope people can go in and get a backstory and understand exactly what's going on. The world can be weaved for them so they can dive right in and not be confused. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. What do you guys think about the trailer? I'm super excited. I'm also very excited because I feel like this is definitely something that I would prefer because we can get more content as a result of this rather than waiting forever and ever for a movie. You can glean more from this. It's more of it to enjoy. And I think you can really spend time with the human characters while getting some monster action to really build them up so they don't feel as superficial as they do in the movies. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.